Welcome to English 102, Introduction to Literature at Cerritos College. This section of English 102 is an asynchronous online course, so we won't have any face-to-face or remote class sessions this summer. But I thought it'd be better if you had my face to go with my name, so I'm your professor, Chad Greene. Well, you're encouraged to chat with me during my scheduled student hours from 9 to 10 a.m. on Wednesday, June 17th, Wednesday, June 24th, Wednesday, July 15th, or Wednesday, July 23rd. I prefer to be contacted by email at cgreen@cerritos.edu. Once our class starts, I will make an effort to respond to all emails within 24 hours, except on holidays and weekends. Now that that bit of business is out of the way, there are three significant questions that I want to answer in this introduction video. The first question is, why am I excited to teach Introduction to Literature this summer? The second question is, why should we still take the time to read and write about literature in the age of AI? And the third question is, how can you complete your required online orientation for this class section of English 102 by this Tuesday? Let's start with the answer to that first significant question. Why am I excited to teach Introduction to Literature this summer? Because 30 years ago, taking Introduction to Literature as a freshman in college was what made me want to become an English major. And yes, for those who are curious about the math, I was 18 then, 30 years ago, which makes me 48 now. The wonderful discussions we had in Introduction to Literature, led by our exceptional professor, Judah Bennett, helped me to understand that reading literature isn't just an academic task. On a more profound level, it provides opportunities to understand our fellow humans, to empathize with them, and to connect with them. So I'm excited to have discussions about literature like those with y'all this summer. Next, let's attempt to answer that second significant question. Why should we still take the time to read and write about literature in the age of AI? Now, the way I phrased that question in terms of taking the time to read and write about literature may have suggested another question to you. But adding 18 to 30 to get 48 is all the math I'm capable of in this video. So please see our syllabus for the numerical answer to the questions. What is the expected time commitment for a 3-unit class taken in 6 weeks? Suffice it to say, reading and writing about literature are indeed time-consuming tasks because they require critical thinking as well as creative thinking. Even when you're pressed for time, though, y'all should resist the temptation to attempt to outsource your thinking, reading, and writing, particularly about literature, to AI. That's because making meaning of our experiences, including our reading experiences, is something that your natural intelligence as humans is still much, much better at than any artificial intelligence. And I would argue that, in the age of AI, our abilities to interpret the meanings of what we are experiencing, not only on our pages or on our screens, but also in our lives, are of crucial importance. We need to think not only critically, but also creatively about what all this might mean to us. And studying literature, especially the literature we're reading this summer, can help. For example, E.M. Forster was worried about humans living in isolation with only screens to entertain and educate them, and mostly instant messaging to communicate with one another in 1909, in a fiction titled The Machine Stops. Adrienne Rich was worried about AIs being force-fed human literature and then asked to generate new writing in 1961 in a poem titled Artificial Intelligence. Carol Kopek was worried about artificial humanoid workers taking the jobs of natural human workers in 1920. Oh, and he created the word robot while he was at it in a drama titled RUR. Oh, and Philip K. Dick was worried about it becoming increasingly difficult to tell the difference between natural humans and artificial humanoids in 1968 in a fiction titled Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? What do all 4 of these works of literature have in common? On a surface level, we're reading all of them in English 102 this summer. On a deeper level, they are wonderful demonstrations of our human ability to think not only critically, but also creatively about what all this, isolated lives dominated by screens, writing generated by artificial intelligences, jobs taken by humanoid robots, might mean to us. And I would definitely argue that we should still take the time to read and write about literature in the age of AI. Finally, let's finish with the answer to the third significant question. How can you complete your required online orientation for this class section of English 102 by this Tuesday? If you were officially on the roster for this class section of Introduction to Literature at that time, you should have received an email from me on Friday, June 12th. In it, I encouraged you and your classmates to enjoy the weekend before beginning your online orientation for English 102 this week. After watching this welcome video, there are at least 5 remaining steps in that orientation process. First, read your syllabus. Second, take your orientation quiz, which is based on the information in this video and in the syllabus. Third, learn mini lesson 1. Fourth, watch my sample introduction video. Fifth, post your own introduction video. If you have not yet added a profile picture on our Cerritos College instance of Canvas, that will be the 6th step in your orientation process. To find all these materials all in one place, click on the link labeled Modules. That is, by the way, how I recommend that you and your classmates navigate the online materials for our online class, by clicking on Modules. That way, you'll see all the elements of the class arranged in the order I intend for you to complete them. Now, before you start those tasks you'll find by clicking on Modules, I want to clarify what I mean by this week. In English 102 this summer, almost all our weeks will start on Fridays and end on Thursdays. In those typical weeks, you'll often have assignments due on Mondays and assignments due on Thursdays. This is an atypical week, though, with different due dates. Specifically, all the tasks for our online orientation have an official due date of 11:59 p.m. this Tuesday, June 16th. Unofficially, though, you can take until 5:59 a.m. this Wednesday, June 17th, to complete them. After completing your online orientation, you should move on to the remaining activities in Module 0. Because Cerritos College is observing the Juneteenth holiday this Friday, June 19th, Module 1, our first full module of English 102, will officially start on Saturday, June 20th. You'll see me again in the video version of Mini Lesson 1. Until then, I look forward to working with you this summer in Introduction to Literature.